On Tuesday, Hillary Clinton said in a nationally televised interview she was never subpoenaed over her use of a private email account and server while serving as Secretary of State. But Wednesday, lawmakers investigating the 2012 attacks in Benghazi, Libya, said that was not true, and they released a subpoena issued in March as proof. John Dickerson, CBS News political director and moderator of Face the Nation, joins us from Washington with more on this. John, Elijah Cummings said it was an honest mistake. Trey Gowdy essentially said Clinton is lying. Where's the truth?
Well, I think in this case, it's probably, it depends. Because on the one hand, the question was asked in a way that left some wiggle room. Clinton was saying that she wasn't subpoenaed on the way to trying to say something else. She was doing a lot of shimmying in those answers. But in this case, the Clinton team's response is that she was talking about whether she was under subpoena when she did the original sorting of all of her emails, and that she was not under subpoena, and that the way she phrased it was in that, sort of unequivocal way. And so they would argue that in the light of day, what she meant was she wasn't under subpoena at the time, but she did get a subpoena later. So I don't know. This one, how you see it depends on where you sit, sort of.
Yeah, the Clinton campaign staff, as usual, rather busy these days, not only with that, with the minor controversy over roping off reporters, and now all the talk about Bernie Sanders, who is surging, as you know. Where does Bernie Sanders fit into this campaign right now, in your estimation?
Well, let me do one quick thing before we move on to Bernie Sanders, which is just to button up on the email front. I think it's up for debate on the question of subpoena, but there were two other assertions that Hillary Clinton made that are much harder to defend. One was that she said that she turned over her emails voluntarily, that she didn't have to. That's not the case. That not only did she have to keep her emails in a kind of secure server, even if it was through her private account while she was Secretary of State, but then after she left, the State Department asked her for her emails. So these weren't just turned over voluntarily. This is something that was required of her. The reason that matters is if you say, well, I turned them over voluntarily, then it means there's no standard against which to judge you. It's sort of, you're doing a nice thing, so don't bother me about the way in which I'm doing it. And then the second thing is that she said, well, there was no law governing any of this. That's not quite true. While she was Secretary of State, there was a regulation that said if you keep your emails outside of the system, that they have to be archived in an approved vessel. That was not the case. She had her own personal server that she was the guardian of. So that's two areas in which she's got some splaining to do.